Hi everyone, it's Thursday night, 9 o'clock, back to our regular time slot for the Handicap, a rugby chat that matters. Good to be with you. We're going to be talking some United Rugby Championship. We've got those 8 fixtures to get through, but we'll be focusing mainly on the SA games and then also touching on some Super Rugby as well. Let's drop this down so we can see who the guest in the studio is. And I've got the Undertaker. He joined us as well this morning, not as a guest, but on the live chat for our Super Rugby show. And Hendrik, great to have you on the show, mate. Love that Western Province jersey. And I'm sure you're looking forward to a big weekend. I'm assuming you are going to be watching the rugby this weekend.
Yes, Brent. I'm really looking forward to this weekend's rugby. I'm going to watch a lot of the games. Most of the games I will be able to watch. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And then, yeah, like, you know, when you're able to watch the games, you get into it more from a betting perspective as well. So, yeah, I can't wait there.
Excellent. Well, just a reminder, if you do enjoy the show and the channel, give us a like and hit the subscribe button. It certainly does help us a lot. Fareed, welcome. Yes, we've missed you over the last few weeks. Looking forward to your thoughts on the weekend's rugby. And yes, welcome to the guys in the live chat. Mark joining us from Ireland. Go Leinster, go. We'll see what Hendrik says about that, Mark. I've got to admit, and I'll give you a little hint, I like Leinster this week on the Handicap as well. And Fareed is saying it looks like a brand new jersey. Is that a new Western Province jersey?
No, it's a very old one. Fareed, you stuffed up my name badly there. But yeah, it's a very old jersey. I probably bought it in 2008, 2007, 2008, thereabouts. So it's an old jersey.
I'm just laughing because I didn't read the full message. I see he called you Heinrich there instead of Henrik. But yeah, it's a bit like my surname gets spelled Graham and Aham and also Aeme all the time differently. Werner joining us as well. Right, Henrik, let's get straight stuck in. I want to start with a little bit of URC, and let's load the show with the local derbies because I think that's what we're all looking forward to this weekend. We've got the Lions at home to the Sharks, a -3.5 points, the Lions, and a points line here of 49.5. Looking forward to your views on this one. I've got some views on the points.
Brent, like you know, I don't like the Sharks at the moment. I don't like the way they play. And the Lions have been playing really well. But yeah, I'm probably going to surprise you. I like the Sharks. I think the Sharks will win this game, actually. I think it's good for them to play away from home, put less pressure on them with the home fans not being there. Just from memory, and I haven't checked stats lately, in my opinion, they have a pretty good record against the Lions, especially at a Spa. So I think the plus is a great bet, and I'm going to take the Sharks to win the game as well. If they don't do that, I'm obviously going to be very upset with myself because I keep opposing them, and I've opposed the Sharks quite successfully lately. But I think they're going to. I just have a feeling they're going to win this game. I hear you've got a feeling on the points. Do you like some points in this game?
Yeah, I think 49.5 is low enough to tempt me into overs here, Hendrik. I had a look at a bit of the history between these sides. Look, the last time these sides met at Ellis Park, it was a very low-scoring encounter. I think certainly the Lions only scored, I think it was 7 points. I think they were quite well beaten by the Sharks. But looking before that, there was some high-scoring games. Now, there's always a risk of these derby games turning into real arm wrestles. But I'm looking at this game and going, yeah, both of these sides, I wouldn't say the Lions are still in contention for a top 8. The Sharks look done and dusted. Maybe not that much to lose to really have a go. And I'm leaning towards the overs here at 49.5. It was certainly a trap if you remember the Lions playing the Bulls a couple of weeks ago. And I think the line there was 58.5, and it turned out, unders arrived with some ease. But I'm just going 49.5 for a game at Ellis Park. At that sort of level, I'm going overs. What do you think?
Brent, my only concern at this time of year with the Highveld games, the Pretoria and Johannesburg games, sometimes you get the lower scoring games at this time of the year because you guys get rain at this time, so the field is a bit softer. It's not that hard field to get in winter. So that's my only concern. 49.5, yeah. Probably overs if pushed, but yeah, I'm just concerned. I'm not gonna. I'd rather focus on the handicap here, and I think the Sharks plus is a good bet. And I know a few guys are not gonna agree with me, and from your show this morning, I think I'm going against the grain there as well, because I think Chris and your guest from New Zealand like the Lions. So yeah, I just feel the Lions, the Sharks to win the game and to plus. And even if the Lions win the game, the Sharks can maybe get a late score to stay in the handicap, something like that. But I like the Sharks to win this game actually.
Yeah, look, I must admit, I've got no real firm views on that. I know it was Nathan this morning, and just to mention, we did our Super Rugby show this morning, and that was at 9:00 in the morning. So look out for that next Thursday as well. But there is I haven't put a link on down below, but if you go on our YouTube channel, you'll find a link to that. We obviously focus there on Super Rugby, but we did touch on the URC, and he did fancy the Lions there quite a bit. I must admit, just quickly on Nathan, Henrik, I enjoy him though. He knows how to analyze. You know, he's very good, I think, at taking emotion out of his analysis, and it reminds me almost a younger version of you and me there.
Yeah, it does, eh? And I like how a lot of New Zealand guys, they will blindly go for the New Zealand teams all the time. But he's not scared of going for the Australian teams on the plus against the New Zealand team. If his stats tells him to take the Aussie team, he takes the Aussie team. So yeah, no, I really enjoy his analysis.
Yeah, likewise. Well, okay, that's the Lions against the Sharks out the way. Let's move on to the Bulls against the Stormers. The Stormers have won something like 7 in a row against the Bulls, and here we got them 6.5-point underdogs at Loftus. Look, this Bulls side this season has been a different animal to what we've seen perhaps in the last couple of seasons, but still 6.5 points. Henrik wearing a Province jersey. I'm thinking you might be leaning towards the plus here, Henrik.
Yeah, they've got the wrong favorite. Eh? If you check the like you said, the Stormers just they've got the Bulls number the last few years. They have a brilliant record against the Bulls at the Cape Town Stadium and at Loftus. So yeah, the plus, in my opinion, is a great bet. Yeah, I think the Stormers, again, like the previous game, I think the underdog will win the game. The away team will win the game. This Stormers team, John Dobson, I haven't always been a fan of, but the last few years, he has done brilliantly with this team. He took a few no-name type of guys, just similarly to what Johan Ackerman did with the Lions a few years ago, and he has turned them into great players. I think there's a brilliant culture at the Stormers. They've got a nice team, and everything just seems to be going their way. A guy like Mani Lebok, he was very average at the Bulls and at the Sharks, and he has thrived at the Stormers. A few guys playing there at the Stormers, it looks really, really good. So yeah, I think the Stormers will win the game, Brent, and I think there might be points in this one as well. I think the Stormers points, I'll be having a look at the Stormers points here. If I can get 23, 24 and a half, 28.
I think so. I'm just looking at that, looking at the points line. If you divide it by, well, no, hold on. Yeah, what would it be? Take off the 6.5 and divide by 2, and add, yeah, I don't know, somewhere around 28, perhaps 28, 22 looks like what they thought. Oh no, then sorry, and I'm mixing up the Bulls and the Stormers. I apologize. You're spot on. Yeah. Sorry, mate. Jeez. Okay, now I thought you said, Jesus, don't tell me that 28. Yeah, you're right. No. A lower Stormers line. I like that as well. I think it's a great bet.
Yeah, because the Bulls, even though they score points, they do concede as well. So, I think Stormers overs maybe, yeah. It depends what the trial, you're probably going to get Stormers over 3.5 tries at ridiculous odds. But yeah, I'd rather take the points. 3 tries and a few penalties maybe, if you get a line of 22, 23, 24 thereabouts. But the plus again, I'm a points punter like you, but I like the handicap more. Yeah, I like the plus, and I like the Stormers to win the game as well.
Excellent. Well, I like those as well. Stormers line at WJ is coming in is 21.5, so that's definitely enough to make it a solid thing. And just looking at the live chat, we got Johan coming out in favor of the Stormers. We've got Farid coming out in favor of the Stormers. So hopefully the Stormers deliver the goods for us this weekend. Those are the 2 big derbies. We certainly, I know Henrik and I, as far as URC going, is focusing most of our attention. But Henrik, let's run through the balance of the game. Some interesting ones here. Edinburgh minus 10.5 against Ospreys. This is Friday night. We've got a points line of 45.5. This handicap has just gradually sort of shifted in Edinburgh's favour. There was minus 9.5, now minus 10.5. I suppose you might even still get the 9.5. What are your views on this one? Anything for you on this Friday night?
Brent, firstly, I haven't, of all this other URC games, I haven't checked the weather. I haven't checked any weather, so I'm probably not going to have a strong feeling on points. Handicap, I think the minus is the way to go here. Both Scottish teams playing really well. They are second and fifth on the table. So, they are. I like the minus here. I think this minus should shift up a bit more. I'd put it at two converted tries, so I think it's a bit low at 10.5. So I think if you shop around, you can still get 9.5 as well. Single digit minus. I think the minus is the way here.
All right, let's see. Mark just asking, is Lebok playing? Do you know, Henrik, if Lebok's playing?
I haven't seen teams yet. I haven't seen any URC teams yet. Yes. They might be out. Okay, I've had a crazy day work-wise, so I haven't had a chance to look. But yeah,
as we get older, the responsibilities mount to get harder and harder. That's why I said the youngsters who always, you got to stay in touch with those guys. They got a lot more time to study form. Right, let's move on to these games. Will be taking place at the same time. I think Munster up against Zebra. This handicap opened here in South Africa at any rate, minus 25.5, and the money has come for Munster. Were very impressive last time out against the Scarlets. A big victory there. They're minus 29.5 and a points line here of 58.5. Henrik, I don't know, tough one. Big handicap this. What do you think?
The Italian teams, they are definitely improving, like you see with the national team as well. Zebra, obviously, not the worst one of the two, but they are not of the two. They're not the best, but it's a tough one for me because I like Munster. I'm a fan of Graham Roundtree as a coach. He's done brilliantly with Munster. I think if you got minus 25.5, that's a great bet. It's 4 converted tries and you can miss 1 conversion. Minus 29.5, probably still the way to go. If Zebra, when they play at home, they're good value to back. And I don't like these big handicaps, but I think Munster still the minus. I think. Let's see how many points Zebra will probably score 1 try, maybe get an early penalty. I can't see them scoring double digits in this game. And Munster will score tries. So I think Munster minus still the way to go.
But I can't recall a show where you and Fareed were in agreement on so many handicaps. Very, very interesting that 2M Systems also coming in and saying Zebra is going to get slaughtered 40 at least. Yes, I mean a fast start by Munster and suddenly that handicap doesn't look so big after all. That's Friday night's games out the way. Let's move on to Saturday now. A little bit of money for Glasgow. This open Benetton plus 3.5. For Benetton, open plus 3.5. It's now come in a little bit to plus 1.5. And we've got a points line here very low, Henrik, 42.5.
Yeah, again, I think the money is right here, Brent. Benetton, I think they'll win the game at home. Like I just said, the two Scottish team playing really well, Glasgow and Edinburgh. But at home, the Italian teams are much better, especially Benetton. They are quality side for the Italian team. Yeah, and I think getting a plus on them or getting even money on the win thereabouts, just take them to win the game. I haven't checked the weather, so I can't really have an opinion on the points. But I think Benetton to win the game is a good bet.
Yeah, Benetton. I think, of course, it's always tricky with this Johnny Six Nations as well because I don't have such a good feel for the depth of all of these sides. But I'm leaning to Benetton with you there. Another game we got here, Connacht, minus 19.5 against the Scarlets. I think the Scarlets have lost something like 7 in a row. They've really been playing poorly this season. And Connacht, a narrow win last time out. But at home, you'd have to think they're going to be too strong for the Scarlets team.
Now, I always like opposing the Welsh teams, Brent, and I'm just having a look at the lock weekly, and Scarlets, they have the points difference of minus 197, and Connacht has a points difference of 4 positive. And Connacht, they are quite good at the sports ground, and this is less than 3 converted tries. I think Connacht on a minus is the way to go. Points, you'll obviously have to have a look. There's lots of rain and wind normally there down at their home ground. It's a sports ground. Maybe an undisciplined Scarlets, if you can get a decent, but 51, you're probably going to get like 12.5 there, about 13, maybe if you're lucky. So I think just rather take the minus because Connacht will still score points in those conditions. They are quite good at
Right, yeah, I'm also aligned with you there. I think Connacht on the minus for me certainly not a confident pick. We got Cardiff up against Leinster. I hope Mark is still watching to give us his opinion on this one. We got a very low points line here, 44.5. And Cardiff plus 13.5 against a Leinster side that, of course, is very much second string. I see Henrik smiling. Is that because he's coming out in Leinster's favour or because he's going to be opposing them? Henrik.
Brent, you're quite a good poker player. You can read faces. I actually liking Leinster here. That's why I'm smiling, because normally I take Leinster on. Like I've said numerous times, I think the bookmakers normally overvalue them. But when last did you get a Leinster handicap of less than 2 converted tries against the Welsh team? Even though it's Six Nations and it's not the top teams, Leinster, they've got a great academy, they've got good players. The minus is the way to go. And of all the URC games, excluding South African teams, this is one of my stronger fancies. I like Leinster a lot on the minus here.
Well, that tells you all you need to know. Mark Dunphy, Undertaker, going for Leinster. Dear God, he says. But I'm with you here as well.
Sorry, Mark.
But Leinster have just got such depth. I also like them on the handicap. And I will have a look at conditions. If there's rain, the points line suggests to me, if I've got that points line correct and didn't make a typo, that there certainly could be some bad weather about. But for me, a Leinster points play might also be something to look at this one. Farid saying, Cardiff fight hard at home, plus on the Cardiff for me. Okay, so the agreements between Farid and Henrik have now officially come to the end. We've got Farid on the Cardiff plus, but I'm with Henrik on this one. I think a Leinster on the minus. We've got one more game. There's been plenty of money on this one. I think, certainly locally, I think it opened up like 18.5 Ulster overseas. By the time I saw local betting, it was 20.5 in favour of Ulster. And the money keeps on coming here for the home team. Henrik, I think Ulster lost to Ospreys last time out. They now face a Dragons side that, is pretty weak to begin with. I believe they got a couple of injuries as well. And the money just coming onto the home team. I could see this handicap shifting out to mid-20s.
Yeah, I agree 100%, Brent. I think there will be more money for Ulster, and I think the minus is still the way to go. Just keep it simple. I'm, again, not sure about the points. I think the minus is the way to go. Ulster should beat Dragons by 4 tries. So you just need to convert. After two of the 4 tries converted, then you've got the handicap.
Right, and we're going to move on to Super Rugby now. Just a reminder, if you haven't subscribed to the Good for the Game newsletter yet, we'll be happy you weren't subscribed last week. It was an absolute disaster on that one. I went overs in the Blues game, and unfortunately, after 32 points in the first half, things just dried up. But there is a link down below to our newsletter, which will probably come out quite early on Friday, because I'm keen to get maybe some stuff down on Friday's Super Rugby games. And talking of Super Rugby, we're going to get into that in just a second. We've got 2 games on Friday, 2 games on Saturday, and 2 games on Sunday. And, of course, important to note here, Henrik, is all of these games are taking place in Melbourne. Now, we obviously covered this on the show this morning, but haven't really got your views on the game. I can tell you this handicap, fairly stable. Highlanders plus 11.5, and we've got a points line of 57.5.
Brent, I got on the Highlanders plus 14.5 on Monday. And I think this handicap is still too big, in my opinion. New Zealand Derby shouldn't be a double-digit handicap, in my opinion. They really go at it. You obviously get the games here and there that the one team will beat the other team by double digits. But I watch your show, and Nathan is the New Zealand guy, right? Nathan. He said that the Islanders didn't impress him, and I agree. The Islanders weren't great last week, but the Blues didn't impress me either. I expected a lot more from the Blues in that first game. I'm happy to take on the Blues here, Brent. I think the plus is the way to go. Points. I know. I read your post about the points last year in Melbourne. There was a lot of points. The average just under 70, if I recall. Yes. That you pointed out. This one, I'm gonna with the New Zealand team. They defend quite well against each other. So I'm not gonna back the unders, but I'm just a bit concerned with the. I'd maybe look at overs on Islanders points, because the Blues do concede as well. But for me, just take the Islanders plus, and don't be surprised if the Islanders win this game.
Okay. We were talking about the points. Yes, 69 average. Only the Blues game, funny enough, against the Brumbies last year would have not beaten this cap. There were 45 points in that game. But yeah, Nathan made some good points about rule changes and that you've got to take into account. But I wonder if there's something about playing on neutral territory where both teams sort of maybe have a little bit more of a carefree almost attitude. I don't know. We'll find out this. I mean, we can't. I always say like 6 games that we had last year, and 5 out of 6 of them were really high scoring. That's not enough to sort of go in firing this year with confidence. But will be very interesting to see, and I certainly will be looking for some high scoring games. Let's move on to the other Friday game. Rebels up against the Force. The Rebels here -5.5 against the Force. Both teams disappointing in week 1. Dare I say, very disappointing. And we've got a points line here for 56.5. And I'd like to know your views on my bet I fancy here, which is I actually like the Rebels points, which is probably at about 31.5, I would imagine. I just thought the Rebels butchered so many opportunities last week against the Brumbies. And I think against a Force side that are not as strong as the Brumbies, they might suddenly click and score some points. Sounding a bit desperate because, quite frankly, I am a bit desperate for a couple of winners this weekend.
No, Brent, I just can't back the Rebels. I hate you guys. You quite like the Rebels, and I have to, like you said, they did butcher a few tries, but things are not all well there. They've got like the coach have a 4-month contract. The players, they're uncertain about their fit. Well, they know that they have to search for new clubs after this. And they played really badly against the Brumbies, in my opinion. The Force, they lost badly against the Hurricanes as well. But the Force is this kind of team that will fight. The Rebels are more a team that they like to score nice tries, nice looking tries.
Tries, yeah.
Yeah, with the Force, they go down and they fight. They put off the sleeves and they go into the fight. So yeah, Force for me, Brent. In my opinion, the Force is going to win the game. I think they've got the wrong favorite here. I would make this a choice game at bit. I would actually make the Force a minus on this one. So I like the Force to win the game. Obviously, the plus. Uncertain about points. If anything, if pushed, I would actually go unders here. I think I can just see how this game gets into like a dark fight type of game. And I think both teams, after losing badly in the first game, they will be desperate to get the win. Yeah, so Force and unders for me, but more Force plus.
I just want to see Force have shortened by almost are you saying 2.5 points on the handicap 2M systems? Not sure if I understand you there, but basically what I'm reading is the money is coming for the Force, and I have seen I quickly adjusted these caps after this morning's show. Okay, so Henrik and for that matter, all the guys in the live chat sort of dampened my enthusiasm somewhat.
Sorry, Brent.
For the Rebels there. No problem. I'll probably, you know me, I'll still back them. But let's see what happens there. Then we got Moana Pacifica. There was some plus 10.5, Henrik, early in the week, so quite a bit of money for Moana now. I was suggesting on the show this morning, well, you may as well get into the point where you may as well back them on the board, perhaps, if you like them, against the Drew. And here we got a high points line of 60.5.
Yeah, you have to back them to win the game because they are going to win the game. I got on Moana plus 9.5. And this 6.5 is still too high. The Drew, the Fijian side, they do score great tries. But I think Moana, the type of game these two play against each other as well. It's like one try for you, one try for me. It's not like one team go out and beat the other team by a lot of points. I think you have to go for the plus here. And you're getting great value taking the underdog for the win here as well. So, I like the plus a lot. Points-wise, last year, I can remember they had 1 million points in both the games. The first one, I backed the unders, and early on, I could see I was badly in trouble. Again, I would think that it can be a dog fight type of game, but not with these teams. So after last year, I got hurt badly, so I can't take the unders, but I'm not going to take the overs either. I'm just going to focus on the handicap again. As a points punter this week, it probably sounds strange the way I'm going for all the handicaps, but I just feel safer with the handicaps at the moment. I'm uncertain about the points, and I think the plus is the way to go. Yeah, I think it's a good bet.
I must say, last week I had the Highlanders I liked on the handicap and the Blues, and I backed both of their points. And both of their points fell short, and they arrived on the handicap. And you sort of sit there afterwards going, I fancied the damn team, and I still lost money. So I've just been making, you go through those stages where you're just not making the right decisions at the right time. And when you're on form and you're winning, it's amazing how you always seem to find the right way to do it. But when you're like me at the moment and you're sort of scratching for winners, it's amazing how often you make those wrong choices. Let's see what the boys in the live chat say before we move on. Moana on the board looks juicy for 2M systems. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. And Farid making the point, and this is very true for a lot of the teams, is that very different teams, the ones that played last year. I do think Moana are perhaps a better side than last year, and I'm not so sure about the Drua. Let's move on to the next game. Are we not quite onto Sunday's games? This will be the second game on Saturday. Henrik, a lot of money for the Crusaders. There was minus 18.5 when we did the show this morning. I think it had already edged out a bit. And that's up against the Waratahs. Points also edging up. It was 58.5 this morning. It's gone to 59.5. And it'll be a brave man, I think, that opposes the Crusaders here. And I was actually quite impressed with them last week. I mean, they fought back well against the Chiefs. At one stage, it looked like they were going to win the game.
Yeah, Brent, I opposed the Crusaders last week, and unfortunately, I heard you speaking to Nathan about it this morning as well. You got on the minus 3.5, I think, early on, and the Chiefs won by 4. So I was on the minus 4.5 Chiefs, so I lost there by half a point. And the Crusaders, at halftime, I was sitting pretty, and I thought, Chiefs gonna do this stuff here on the minus, and then the Crusaders came back very well in the second half. They played really well, and I'm gonna take the Crusaders on a lot of times this year, but this weekend's not going to be one of those weekends or one of those games. The Waratahs, they are the walking wounded at the moment. It seems like they're going to lose Mark Nowaka. I can't remember. I can't pronounce his surname.
I'm not even going to try.
And he's a guy that's normally good for 7 points for them. He's a great winger. He just gets involved and he just does the right stuff on the field. You have to go on the minus here, but the thing with the Waratahs and Crusaders games normally, there are a lot of points. I haven't got stats on it, but from memory, it's always very
even finals on that between the sides.
I remember a game. It was probably 2008, 2009, thereabouts, 2007, maybe even where the Crusaders won like 95 something against the Crusaders.
I remember that one as well. Yeah.
At that stage, it was the highest scoring Super Rugby game. It might still be, I'm not sure. But I think somebody like Caleb Ralph scored like 3 or 4 tries. It was a very high scoring game. And from that time, I just remember always this is a high scoring game. And the Waratahs, even though they let in points, they also score points. Jake Gordon, he loves a try at scrum off. He always gets on the score. And like that winger, Mark, but he's not playing now. Ben Dollar, he's not playing today, sorry. But you just expect points from the Waratahs as well. So I think overs here, overs on Crusaders points or overs on total points is the way to go. But the minus also, I think the Crusaders will beat this minus.
Yeah, I think we're aligned on that one. This game, I think there's been a couple of I think I heard there might have been about a plus 9.5, 10.5 Brumbies early in the week, but certainly over the last day or two, this has been very stable. We've got Chiefs minus 8.5 against the Brumbies, and the points are 55.5. Nathan this morning and Chris, I think as well, if I recall, were both on the Brumbies plus on this game. Henrik, are you joining them?
Brent, I think so. This is 2 teams I'm looking to back during the season. Now they're playing against each other. Then it gets tricky for me, especially the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs this season, but the Brumbies, they do have the forwards to come when they come up against the New Zealand teams to really fight them. I think the plus is probably the way to go. I'm not as strong as your guest this morning, but I think the plus is the way to go. Yeah. And with the points, I'm unsure. Whenever the New Zealand and Australian teams play each other, when it's the one country against the other, I like to go overs just because of the different styles that play against each other. And this Chiefs team, they will score a lot of tries this year. But yeah, I think the Brumbies, they might stifle their ball. They won't give them the quick ball. Stephen Larkham, the Brumbies coach, he's a wily old character, and he will have a plan how to stop their quick ball and stop their tries, to try scoring opportunities. Guys like Sean Stevenson and the wingers, Nana Sitora and those guys. I think the plus is the way to go. I'm not as strong, like I said, but I think the plus is the way to go, yeah.
Right, one last game to bring us home and take us to the best bets. This has also been fairly stable. We've got Hurricanes -9.5 against the Reds, and a points line here of 57.5.
I think this game will have points, Brent. Both these teams like scoring tries, like scoring attractive rugby, running rugby. Tate McDermott for the Reds, he will speed the game up. The Hurricanes like playing a fast game. I don't think. Well, the Reds probably have the better loosies to slow the ball, the game down if they want to, and that will probably they'd be wise to try and slow the ball.
Yeah, they'd be wise to slow it down. I agree.
And then you're in trouble with the points if you fancy the points. So that makes it tricky. Yeah, while I would like to back the Hurricanes, I just have a feeling the Reds must stay in this one. And if they play cleverly and slow the game down, I think that the handicap looks a bit high. Again, not one of my stronger games, but I think the plus is probably the right bet here.
Fareed is reckoning the Canes can beat the handicap. Yeah, I tend to be leaning towards a nice high-scoring game for us to end off the weekend. That brings us to the end of a show. It's actually a good idea that I just had one guest on, and the reason, by the way, was because I was meant to have load shedding now, and I didn't want the generator on for too long, but that didn't happen, believe it or not. But we've got plenty of games there, so let's start off with the Super Rugby, which we've just spoken about. Hendrik, what are your best plays in Super Rugby?
Brent, it's going to be in the first three games. Yeah, I quite like the Drua on the plus, and then I like the Islanders on the plus as well. I like the Force as well. All three the first games, I like the underdogs. Best of the lot, I'd say the Drua, the Moana. Sorry, I said Drua. The Moana on the plus. I think Moana plus 7.5. There should be some plus 7.5 still. I think that's a very good bet, and that's my favorite. That's my strongest of the three, and I like all three underdogs. And then points in the Crusaders game as well.
Right, we'll get into your URC picks in just a sec. Johan Esthuizen coming in with his weekly treble. Crusaders, Tars over 59.5. I like that one. Moana plus 7.5. Hendrik and I both like that one as well. And the Stormers plus 7.5, and that works out at 11-2. Wants to keep the roll going. Yeah, Johan, I must say, I think you'll get certainly a nodding head there from Hendrik and myself. 2M Systems coming in. Munster minus 40.5. He's going for the Oracle extended handicap there. Crusaders minus 33.5. What is that? So minus 46.5. 80 times your money. Goeie geld. So, yeah, nothing wrong with taking a big treble like that with extended prices. Hendrik, take us through your URC best bets.
Yeah, Brent, I'm going for the Stormers. I think the Stormers plus, and I think they will beat the Bulls up there. If they fall short, I can't see the Bulls beating them by more than converted try. So 6.5, I'm happy to take the 6.5. I think the Stormers will stay in there. And then I like Leinster as well. I think that 13.5 is just too low against the Welsh side.
Excellent. Well, I think you and I aligned quite a bit this weekend. I'm not sure that's a great thing for you given my current form, but I'll have to wonder what the old newsletter best bet will be. I must say, I'm honestly, as I sit here now, I do like quite a lot. I'm not as last week I went in way too excited. I got too carried away in that Blues game, and unfortunately I chased it on Highlanders over 5.5 tries, and had 8 minutes to score like another try, and they never even got almost into the half. You know, it was one of those, and so I'm going to go in a little bit. I don't want to say more cautious because I do have the element of chasing about me, but I'm not as confident as I was last week, and perhaps that's actually be a good thing. But anyway, Hendrik, it was great chatting to you on the show. First of all, just to say cheers to the guys in the live chat. Thanks, guys, for your contributions. And Hendrik, yeah, enjoy all the rugby and all the sport on this weekend. Anything else that catches your eye? I think this is really a rugby weekend. Yeah,
it's more rugby. I always have a look at the cricket that's on. I like my cricket. There's a few test matches going. Ireland versus Afghanistan, or in Afghanistan. I'm actually keeping an eye on that one. Ireland got a good lead there in the first innings. And then, the Australia, New Zealand test as well in New Zealand. So, I like the test cricket. So, having keeping an eye on that. no other sports really for me. I'm more of a rugby guy, and I like my cricket. And you, is there anything other that you're gonna have a look at?
No, pretty much gonna focus on the rugby this weekend. I love the fact that there is so much rugby, because I don't know, but my kids been out of school now. I don't have school sport anymore to watch on the Saturday, so it's lacking enough. That could take up my day. Michael coming in, and we haven't had a post on Twitter. The show does go out live on Twitter, but we generally get comments from YouTube, and that's a Twitter post there. Sharks gonna win. Henrik is very much in your camp there, Michael, and Farid just making a comment here. Pro 12, D2, and top 14 with some Japanese League One make for a bumper rugby weekend. Yeah, quite a few guys on the forum play that. I haven't quite ventured into that sort of zone yet. But Henrik, great chatting to you, man, and we'll certainly be in touch with you over the next week or so to see what next weekend holds.
Thanks, Brent. Thanks for having me.